Welcome back to the Fandamentals podcast, where we talk all things related to sports from a fan's perspective. What's going down?
Man,
All right,
another sports talk.
all right, yeah. For another day, another sports talk. So we're gonna break down some of the things that we have on the agenda to talk about today. The Brock Purdy contract. We're gonna break that down a little bit. Um, we're gonna talk about Cam Ward signing his rookie contract, and is he competing with Will Levis, or does he have the job outright? And with SGA winning MVP, does it make him, based on his stats, does it make him the greatest Oklahoma City Oklahoma City Thunder, or is KG still that
KD.
guy, and our views and what we think. And I'm gonna even throw some numbers out there. So that is on the agenda. As y'all know, it is a podcast. So things sometimes we get off on some other things. So those are the things that are on the agenda. We may or may not go down that path. There's a possibility that things change. Again, this
hmm
is our opinion, fans' perspective. What we say is not fact, all the time. Sometimes, it's just it's an opinion based show. So,
Yeah.
take that for what it is. And hopefully, if it's your first time joining us, like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe, because we have a lot of fun on here, man.
hmm
We don't take ourselves too serious. So, with that said, let's talk about this Brock Purdy thing. First of all, as a 49er fan,
Mm.
how do you feel about it?
I mean, I needed him to get a deal done, but
Yeah.
boy they boy they opened up the pockets for him, and I don't I for the next 5 years I need a championship, bro. I need a championship now.
You need a
The
champ.
money you
It, it,
265 million
yes.
over the next 5 years.
Yeah.
I need to see that. I need to see that. I need to see that Super Bowl being hoisted. If you don't do a championship, I need at least two Super Bowl appearances. You know
Yes,
what I'm
I
saying? I
feel
need
you.
two more. I need two more.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money, man.
Yeah, it
Like
is.
that's a lot of money. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? You want to try to you're trying to solve a quarterback for years, which I get it. You do. Every team needs a quarterback. He's been pretty good. He's been pretty solid. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And all that stuff. But it's a little bit too much, if you ask me. Just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he's
Yeah.
gonna get paid, and I think it's just based upon like what the quarterbacks are getting paid now. He kind of runs into that. It works for him, but
Right.
he's getting that Joe Burrow type. You know what
That
I'm saying?
range.
It's a
Yeah.
big contract. What is like 50 something million guaranteed or something like that, or what is it like?
No,
Or
the
per
his
year or
his
something like that.
yeah, per year. So his guaranteed money is 181 million guaranteed. So yeah, it's like 51 guaranteed per year. That's um, that's steep. But
Yeah.
the question is, right? Like, when you really break it down, what else are y'all like? What are you gonna do? What else are y'all gonna do? Like, who you had to get a deal with him? He understood. Obviously, his agents understood their leverage in
Mm-hmm.
this, you know,
Yeah.
and so it was like, who? Well, what else were you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of at the mercy of the players at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Like,
yes,
so yeah, you had to get it. And it's not like you can really blame the ownership for doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. If you want to get a quarterback, you're gonna have to pay for a quarterback. That's just
yes.
kind of how the name of the game goes. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You know, these athletes, boy. Sometimes I'm just like, man, like you just seen what happened to your team. Half the defense is gone. Now you're
Gone.
retooling. You know, you should be taking something like that in consideration. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
you're worth a good contract. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But Could you have been in the 47 million range as
I
opposed to 50?
that's yes,
You know what I'm
yes,
saying? A 50, 51, 53 range. You could have been like at 47, give your team a little bit of cap space. I mean, it's not like you could take a deal like that because, I mean, when you think about it, like you were, you were the last player in the draft. So you
yeah,
weren't, and so you weren't really a high pick. And then on top of that, yeah, you've exceeded the expectations because there was no expectations for you to do
stations,
anything.
right,
So nobody had a thought process, and you did really well. He's done well. You know what I'm saying? Last year was a down year. We had all the injuries and stuff like that, so we know where that was at. The year
right,
prior, you did take us to a Super Bowl. The year prior to that, you got injured in the NFC Championship game,
right,
and but we've seen what you can do. So
hmm,
were you deserving of money? Yes. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
50 something million, bro, like right out the gates though. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying, I would have did some like you could have been in that 47, 48 range, took a little bit of cut so the team could be able to pay they could have been able to pay another person some more money or whatever. I mean, I like what they did with, re-signing Kittle for a little bit longer, extending that contract.
yeah,
I mean, outside of Purdy, the other contract extension that was kind of was Christian McCaffrey. I
right,
understand what you're trying to do, but he can't remain healthy. You know what I'm saying, all the time. So he's kind of a
hmm,
liability in that. So you extending him, I understand you need a running back, but we have an offense that's always plug and play anyway.
right,
So, you know, and you had like the Jordan Masons that did pretty good. Now
with the run game, yeah,
now we don't have Jordan Mason no more. You know what I'm saying? So uh, it just sometimes I think that just a little bit of thought process on the player side can go a long way for helping your team compete and continue to compete for championships or to retool or whatever. Now,
right,
get your money. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got
yeah,
nothing wrong with you getting your money. You're going to get millions anyway. So it's just like,
yeah, yeah,
is it really that big of a difference between you not getting 40, you getting 53 or versus 47?
right.
Bro, you
Well,
already set. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You
yeah,
set. So,
and I think the biggest thing is the players want the guaranteed. Their biggest thing is the guaranteed money, right?
yeah,
And
definitely get
totally,
that guaranteed.
yeah, totally understand. Um, I and maybe it's easy for us as fans to feel a certain kind of way about you should take more to be able to give more to the team, right? You should take
Yeah,
less in order to give more to the team. You should look at that, and some players do. We saw Tom Brady has done that. We've
hmm,
seen players restructure their deal to be
yeah,
able to get somebody else to be there. Um, but agents are trying to get the
yeah.
best deal for their players.
Because the
That's
agent's
what
trying to
they
get the best money
they're
they can
that's
get
what they
too.
get paid to do, right? They're trying to get
Yeah.
their percentage, and so
Hmm.
that's that's an important part of it. And
Yeah.
I it's a twofold kind of thing because I totally understand from the 49ers. It's you know do we let's go ahead and lock them up now,
Yeah.
because let's say this,
Need to.
let's say uh let's say he had won that Super Bowl a couple
Hmm.
years ago, we wouldn't be talking about this contract, right? we
That's a
we
fact.
we wouldn't be discussing it. We'd be like, oh, that's a good contract for him, right?
Yeah. He's proof, but it would be justifiable because you won. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, hey, just we know that he came out and he did what he needed to do. We won. I mean,
yeah,
you could always still kind of justify it in some capacity for the simple fact that he took the team to a Super Bowl.
yeah,
Um, but Garoppolo did the same thing, but we already know what that's all about. I
yeah,
ain't even got to
yeah,
bring him
yeah,
back up
yeah.
in there. But at the same time, at the same time, man, it's just kind of like, I would have been more okay with it if you did bring us a Super Bowl, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it's kind of like I understand the contract, and I understand what you're trying to do. You know, you're trying to get your money in this thing. You could always restructure later on down the road, reconstruct, whatever. But to me, it's just like sometimes that's just my perspective of things. It's just like the goal usually is,
To
this is
win.
what most of y'all say, is to win.
Yeah.
You know, when you sitting there and you worried about your team and you're looking at it and you're like, okay, we got a lot of pieces that are falling by the wayside now. Maybe it's something else we don't know about that,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, and behind the scenes, because we don't know everything that goes on behind the scenes. But
Very true. Very
it's
true.
just kind of like one of those things like, you know, hey, I can get my money, but can I be a little more, you know, lenient to where I need to be at? Or you know,
Right.
it's just one of those things. Like you gotta weigh your options, and I understand trying to get paid, especially when you're out there, you busting your butt, you on the line, your butt's on the line, injuries and all these other things like that. So the guarantee, I have no problems with anybody getting their money trying to get that guaranteed contract. Because yes,
Right.
I want it guaranteed no matter what. But
Right.
it's just I'm thinking he could have been in the 48, 47, 48 range. You know,
I
it would
feel
have
you.
helped a little bit. It's not a whole bunch that will really would have went on when it comes to restructuring a lot of people's contract, but it's, you know, extra 5 to 6 million a team could have can help bolster your team's roster. And that's
Yeah.
just, I guess, how I look at it. Like when you talk about just a team game, your team friendly, whatever, you know, bolster your team's roster. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take.
If
I feel like I'm worth this, and I'm with that. But
right.
let me go ahead and I'll do about 5 million less. I mean, really, when you think about it, it's like once you start getting to the point to where 53 million, 55 million, 48 million, bro, really is 5 million that real? Is it really killing you that much? You know what I'm saying? It ain't like you're going
Yeah.
from I'm working on a $5 million contract and you know what I'm saying, and would I take 5 million less if I'm only getting paid 5 million, or 2 or 3 million less if I'm
Three
getting
million
paid
less.
5 million?
Right. Right.
Probably not. But if I'm up in the 50s and something million a year, yeah, it's easy to just be like, all right, I'll take a little less because I'm not missing nothing really. But
Right.
when you know, when you're in the lower half, then yeah, I understand if you make it a very small contract. But that's a fan's perspective, you know what I'm saying? And that's just, you know, like how me and you talk. It's just the way that we think. You
Right.
know, I'm not saying that he getting his money is wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that 49ers trying to get and sewing up a quarterback is wrong. It's not. You know,
It's
get your
not. Yeah.
quarterback.
Yeah.
That's your quarterback.
Yeah. Get
Go
your
get your
guy.
quarterback. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Go
Get your
get your
guy.
guy.
Lock him in. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you did with everybody else. You did that with Caffrey. You did it with Kittle. You know, you
Kittle.
did
Yeah.
it with
You lock.
Ayuk
Yeah. You locked
reluctantly.
him in.
You
Yeah.
know, so you lock them in. I understand that. But, you know, when you talk about the player side, it's like you getting your money, get your bag.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
hey,
For
I'm not
sure.
against you getting your bag, but at the same time, it's just like, don't come hollering about you on a team that ain't winning
And you don't.
if we
Yeah.
can't re-sign players because you got to get the most money out of everything.
Right.
Like, so that's just kind of where I'm at. Because Brock Purdy, he's a pretty good.
With
To me, he's a pretty good quarterback. So,
well, with
but
this
yeah.
contract, uh, in total, it's looking at 53 mil a year, right? If we without the breakdown of the numbers with the bonuses and all of that stuff, as a
Mm-hmm.
whole, 53 million a year. That makes him the seventh highest paid quarterback in the league right now. Is he in the top 10 of quarterbacks right now? Active quarterbacks, is he a top 10
So
quarterback?
when you break it down like that, me personally, how I feel about him, I think he is. I think
Okay.
he's a top 10
What
quarterback.
where's he at on the list? Right?
He's
So like
he's he's kind of like, you know, the bottom half of the top 10, but I feel like he's like eight. He probably justify, if you're talking about he's the seventh highest paid quarterback, I could see him being 7 or 8, maybe even 9, 10. it's kind of hard to really pick out. Like, if you really go down the
It,
list, can you really pick out 10 quarterbacks that's better than Brock Purdy
let's try. Let's
right
look
now?
at it, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
got Lamar Jackson,
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes,
Yep.
Josh Allen,
Yep.
uh, Joe Burrow,
Yep. That's 4.
Matthew Stafford.
5.
No, don't no.
If you put
Don't
the
question it.
if you put
Don't
the
question
numbers
it.
if you put the numbers together, they are damn near even. If you
Uh,
look at the numbers. But
if you
Stafford, I say 5. I'll give you 5. I'll give you.
okay,
It's debatable to
don't
me, but I
hey.
give you 5. Hey,
Well.
I give you 5.
Okay. So here's where it gets tricky. In my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
are you putting Jalen Hurts above, or is Jalen Hurts a product of what's on his team?
I mean, they all a product of what's on their team for most part,
Yeah, for the
but
most part, yes.
um, he's a debatable one as well. He's very debatable. I like what Jalen Hurts does, and he does a lot, but he does have an arsenal of weapons just like Brock Purdy does. So I will put him. I'm gonna give Hurts a slight edge. Let me just do that.
Okay. All right.
I'll do that. I'll give him. So
Now
that leaves him at 7.
Dak
No.
Prescott, who is the highest paid quarterback right now, right?
Yeah, he shouldn't be.
Right. So you're taking
I'm
Brock before you
taking
take Dak.
Purdy over Dak Prescott.
All right.
Just
You're okay. All right.
so Purdy's sitting at about 7 right now. I got a couple of debatables and questionables, but we gonna
Okay.
leave that alone. For the Ram fan, you know what I'm saying. But let's go
Well,
ahead.
well, well. Let me ask you this:
You
if
know.
you need, if you need, if it's a minute 30 left on the clock,
Mm-hmm.
and you need a touchdown, and you're down by, let's say you're down by 5, so you need the touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Which quarterback do you want to drive down the field for you? Y'all got the same roster, same roster. We're not going. Each quarterback has the same roster. Which quarterback are you taking
If I'm really putting it that way, I
between
would
between
probably
Matthew
take Purdy.
Stafford and you're gonna take Purdy
Do you want to know why?
over Matthew Stafford,
Do
who
you
has?
want to? Do you want to know why?
Tell me.
Brock Purdy has been able to make. He's been able to do a lot more, especially with his feet, if he really needs to. He can create both ways. They both gonna put you at risk one way or another. I mean, passing the ball one way or another, it's gonna be a risk. But if I need a first down or I need a miracle play or probably something happening, if the man needs to run with his feet, I got Purdy on that.
But we've
He's
watched. Don't get it twisted, because Matthew Stafford will still go. He did that last year, even at his age,
I mean,
right?
he
And
has.
we've watched time and time again Matthew Stafford drive down the field.
Have we?
We yes, I look. You got to think about just how we're one reception away from beating the Eagles last season in the snow. Don't
Okay.
forget about that pass he threw to Puka
Yeah.
Nakua on the sideline in the snow.
Yeah. He's done made some miracle stuff. Yeah.
You know,
You're right.
don't don't forget about the throw he made to Cooper Cup a couple years ago playing against Tampa Bay
This
to
is all
to
facts.
to
I
you know,
take I
and let's
take
not forget
nothing
about the
from you.
Super Bowl against
Well,
Cincinnati.
yeah, I mean, I give it to him. I give it to him. I give you all of that. But let's not also forget about the things that Brock Purdy has done in his short learned career. Let's just look at the Green Bay game where we was getting stomped out and he started using his feet. mobile wise. When we was playing Kansas City, he was being very mobile and using his feet to drive us downfield.
So
That
it's
problem
just
with
the
the
mobility.
problem
It's
with
just the mobility.
that's the other, that's why I said that's the other thought process that I have when it comes to that. If you need the
Okay.
man to be able to use his feet and be mobile in a clutch situation, I got Purdy because he can actually do it passing and throwing and running.
Okay.
But yeah, accuracy wise, I'm definitely. I mean, Matthew Stafford ain't not taking nothing from him, and it's not a homer pick for me. I
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
literally look at it from that standpoint. Like if you're talking about if I need a minute and some seconds, because I've seen Brock Purdy take us down the field, and I've seen a kicker miss a whole bunch of field goals to make us lose games, and
that, that
everybody want to blame Brock Purdy for not winning, and he's done put us in positions to win the game. I've seen it time and time and time and time again. I've seen our receivers drop balls that we should have caught,
well,
Debo.
that was a big now I'm glad you brought that up because again I'm with you. I totally understand. Um, and some of the people that may have, because as I looked at the contract, I'm like, yeah, is it a little bit high for him? Yes, but also I understand. But to the people that were like super, super critical and just thought Brock Purdy wasn't the guy at all, um, and they're strictly just looking at the numbers, you have to equate the amount of drops that San
Yes,
Francisco battled last season. It
yes,
was it was it was it was damn near disturbing that
like easy
these
catches,
this level of wide receiver in the league are having these drops. Like,
bro.
and so I'm glad you brought that up because people have to look at that. Like
And
that
see,
that matters.
this is the problem that I have when people want to blame Purdy for not being able to do certain things, but then you give Patrick Mahomes a lot of passes. He ain't getting that same type of criticism when you're talking about how his team was dropping balls left and right 2 years ago. Like
Yeah.
literally, they
Well,
had
they
nobody
yeah
was
they
catching anything. They were dropping everything, but
hmm
it was never, oh, Patrick Holmes can't get it done because, of course, we know
yeah
his resume.
right.
Purdy goes with the same type of thing, and it's just like you were watching people drop catchable balls in crucial moments of games.
Look, Debo
You,
Samuel complained about his passes,
yes,
then goes
yes,
out and lays an egg when they play the Rams.
yes,
Like he goes out and was trash. Like
yeah,
drop. I mean, I'm
yeah.
open,
And not
open.
only
Like
that, the first game when we played y'all, what's the boy name that I told you I don't never want to see him on my roster anymore?
oh yeah,
I
yeah,
can't think
yeah,
of his
yeah.
name,
I can't think
but
of it. Yeah,
I can't think of his name right now. But he missed a whole bunch of clutch
yeah.
passes just right there. Now, my biggest thing about Purdy that I don't like, and this is where I would pick Stafford over him, is Purdy sails high on a lot of his passes.
When they're bad, they're bad. Like they
They're
sell
bad. They
really.
sail high,
Yeah.
and I see what he
That leads to
tries to
picks.
do because he tries to put it out of the range for the defender to be able to, because he throws those balls that you're just like, ooh, I don't know if I would have
Yeah,
threw that one that way. But he
yeah,
tries to
yeah,
get it right over the defender's hands, but it sails high. And then
yeah,
sometimes he'll do that when he doesn't need to throw it like that. And
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's the only other part where I would say, like, I would pick Stafford in that because Stafford is a lot more accurate when it comes to those things. If I'm just doing a mobility type of thing like that, then yeah, I'm going to pick Purdy. But if I'm doing off of basics, if we just talking about like straight quarterback, and you ain't got to run, and you just darting, I'm picking
Yeah.
Stafford.
Right.
I'm picking Stafford. If you just darting, I need to hit a wide open, boom, boom, boom. Stafford's got that. If
Right.
I'm talking about arm strength, Stafford's got that. So, I mean, it's a toss up for me. I just look
Yeah.
at it from, in clutch situations, mobility plays a big part for me. And Stafford can run, but I know Purdy has gotten out of, I've seen him get out of some stuff that is just like, really? Like,
Yeah.
you really did that, bro? Like, you should have been sacked like 5 yards back that way, and then you came out and threw a ball down here, and the receiver catches it or whatever.
Yeah.
But It's a toss up, but yeah, that's how I feel about it though. Is like when I'm looking at it, but I would definitely say he's top 10 to me. He's at least top 10. That ain't saying that
CJ
I'm sitting
Stroud.
here. Yeah, I gotta give Stroud over him. I
Okay.
think I do Stroud over him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I do Stroud over him. Stroud
Cause
is a
real,
bad boy.
I'm
Stroud is a
I'm
bad boy.
I'm gonna be real with you. Like I'm taking Stroud before I'm taking Hurts.
Oh well, me too. Me too.
Yeah, I'm
Me too.
taking Stroud
Yeah,
before I'm taking
yeah,
Hurts.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Even at this moment in time, I'm even looking at Jaden Daniels like I'll take him over Hurts.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, me too. And
So
and, and
now I'm
granted,
starting
we
to
only
push.
saw
See, I'm starting to push my
yeah,
boy back a little bit more now. But see, like I said, with that Hurts and Purdy, I gave Hurts the go ahead because he
the
won the Super
nod
Bowl.
because of the Super
He
Bowl.
won a
Yes,
Super Bowl. I mean, yeah,
but
he
we've
won a Super
talked.
Bowl.
That was a
But
total team win. That was a
yes, it
total
was.
team
It
win.
was.
You
It was.
you you, you like the Eagles defense
Their defense was what really won
was
that game.
yes,
Their
yes,
defense.
yeah.
Hurts did really well though. He managed the game extremely well.
Oh yeah,
He
absolutely,
extremely well. Now,
absolutely.
now let me. I'm gonna have to retract now. As a quarterback, I put Purdy above Hurts. As a quarterback, I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to do that because I think Purdy has better decision making.
You
And
think
he
so?
he doesn't. Yeah, I do. I think he has better decision making. I think, and if I really look at it from the standpoint, Purdy doesn't really turn the ball over a lot. He had a bad year last year, but when you look at his first 2 years, he doesn't throw a lot of interceptions.
Mm,
Look
Hurts
at
don't
him.
either because he'll pull it down and take
But
off.
Hurts will fumble. That was one of
Yeah,
his big knocks. He was turnover
yeah.
prone because he would fumble the ball.
But he's running. He's taking off running more.
Whatever
Yeah,
you want to
yeah.
do. I mean,
I
that's just
get.
like
Look, I
Josh
get it.
Allen. Hey, I
I
like
get it.
Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a beast, but what was the biggest thing we talked about when it came to Josh Allen?
Yeah,
He's turned the ball over a lot,
turnover. Yeah.
and so
Last
he
year he was
he
a lot
cleaned it
better.
up. He cleaned it
Yeah, he
up
cleaned it
last
up.
year,
He cleaned it
but
up.
he turned the ball over. So I can't knock Josh Allen and hold that against him, and then look at Hurts and be like, well, nah, it don't work like that. I'm gonna keep the same energy on both sides, bro.
Yeah,
Hurts
fair.
Hurts, he used to fumble a lot, and that's the
Yeah.
problem with Hurts. And I don't think he's a very. I don't think he's is as far as a quarterback. I don't think he has the greatest of arms. Now
Oh well,
he
yeah.
makes
And
good decisions. He can
yeah.
make good decisions, but a lot of times it is athleticism that can help him a lot. But Hurts is not jumping off the page when I'm looking at. And he's also benefit from having a heck of a line. Last year he had a heck of a running back. He has. I mean, I'm not gonna try to let me stop trying to use that as anything because of the fact that your personnel is your personnel. You can't
Right.
help that. But at the
Right.
same time, I think Purdy is a lot better of a quarterback than Hurts. I think he is a better quarterback than Hurts.
Fair
That's
enough.
just how I feel.
Fair enough. I would have to say that when it when it when it comes down to it, like we all know that a huge part is your roster and what you're working with. Like
Oh yeah.
very few can win with limited, and that's when we're talking about greats. Like when we brought it up, we brought up Tom Brady. There was some
Mm-hmm.
rosters where it was like you know he was able to win with some rosters that other quarterbacks definitely are not winning with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Right.
so that matters, right? Like even when you look at even when you look at uh when you go back in history, you talked about Joe Montana and him having some of the right pieces around him.
Yeah.
Troy Aikman falls under that, having some of the right pieces around
Mm-hmm.
him. There are some, you know, quarterbacks out there that just didn't have that the talent was there, but they just didn't have the pieces. But that's what separates, in my opinion, that's what separates greats from goats.
Yeah. Yes.
That's the separation.
Yes. I
And
agree.
that's what makes Tom Brady a GOAT,
I agree.
you
I
know?
agree
So,
completely.
right. And as much as I don't like Tom Brady when he was playing, I like him outside of that. But when he was playing, it was very much F Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like,
All day long. Yes.
you know,
Yes.
so
Yes.
but that said, that's what makes him a GOAT. So roster matters, um, and pieces around you matter.
Yep.
With that said, I want to get into. We're gonna switch sports. I wanna talk about um, SGA won MVP with the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
He that is a very very young team.
Right.
I with the roster that they have, and they've played very well in the playoffs. But OKC, just OKC, not when SGA was with uh
The
spent the
Clippers.
year with the Clippers. Not that. Just OKC.
Mm-hmm.
His career versus Kevin Durant's
Oh,
OKC career.
Kevin
If
Durant.
yeah, if it, let's say Gilgeous-Alexander wins. Let's just say he wins the championship this year. Does that overthrow him as the greatest Oklahoma City Thunder player in their history?
I mean, I guess by default because he has a championship with OKC and brought them that. Yeah, in that sense. Because championships matter. Uh, Performance wise, ooh, I don't know. Cause
Yeah,
let's just be real. That OKC roster had some dogs, some talent. Of course, you've seen
right.
Westbrook, Harden, but the apex the apex predator to say on that team
Yeah,
was Kevin Durant,
correct.
and OKC Kevin Durant was otherworldly, bro. Like
Yes.
he was on another level. Um, but SGA is a beast, beast in his own right. You know what I'm saying? He's
Yeah.
starting to come out of it. He's starting to come into his form really really bad, really good. Um, if Shea wins it, I would say yes because he brought them a championship, and I'm pretty much gonna probably assume that he will be the MVP of the finals,
Oh yeah,
more than likely.
absolutely. Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so if he wins a championship, then I would have to say by default, sure, yes, I will give it to him. But if he doesn't win a championship, I still say it's Kevin Durant.
Okay. So this is why regardless if Shea Gilgeous-Alexander wins, I still have to have Kevin Durant. And the reason is because it it comes down to what you said with having Russell Westbrook and James Harden on that roster,
Mm-hmm.
and for Kevin Durant to still have put up those numbers that he did,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
what does it for me, right? Because when you really go back and look at that at what Kevin was doing, right? Like
His numbers
with
was
that,
crazy.
his numbers were crazy with that amount of talent around him. When you look at and we're taking the 2007 2008 when he played with Seattle, we're taking that out, right? We're starting with 2008, 2009, all the way up to 2015, 2016. So that with that 2008, 2009, I'm starting there. He
Mm-hmm.
averaged 25.3 points a game. Then it went up the next season, it went to 30.1. 82, he played 82 games that year. Games played,
Yeah.
games started, 82 games that year where he had 30.1, right?
Mm-hmm.
The following year, 27.7. The following year after that, 28.0. The following year after that,
Yeah.
28.1. Then 32.0. Then 25.4. Then 28.2. Keep in keep in mind all of those
The
years.
numbers are stupid, bro.
Keep in mind all of those years. You want to guess what his percentage was?
He's shooting over 50.
Shooting over 50 for them last 4 of them years. He was shooting over 50%, and even them 4 prior, even the 3 prior, it was like at 46, 47, and 49%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah. When you break it down like
stupid,
that, then yeah, I give it. No,
stupid.
that's why I said the only caveat to that whole entire thing would be if for me would be if SGA was able to get over the hump and win a championship.
Championship,
That
yeah,
would be the only thing to make him, because in the land of where championships matter, he
yeah,
got it done. Kevin Durant didn't.
didn't,
That's the
yeah,
only other thing there. But if we just talking straight, just hooping and without the championships, let's not even worry about that. Right now, right here, right now, even if we just talking about balling, period, yeah,
yeah,
I'm going Kevin Durant all the time, all day, every day. Kevin
yeah.
Durant, he literally he's the greatest Oklahoma City player
Oh
ever.
yeah, for sure.
I mean, hands down, if you was to do it that way. Um, Shoot, you ain't even had to get rid of his rookie year because he averaged 20 points in his rookie year. You know how many people don't really do that,
I
bro?
know. Yeah, yeah,
So it's just like, and then on top of that, OKC, his numbers in the playoffs were stupid too. I mean, when he was at OKC for Kevin Durant, 20,
yeah.
25 one year, 28.6, 28.5, 30.8, 29.6,
Crazy numbers.
28.4 points per game. I mean, Kevin Durant was a certified bucket, bro. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's
And I'm even at
it,
the point to where it's just like it still would be even close, even if SGA won a championship. It's still close to me when it comes
yeah.
to that part.
That's right.
But if we just taking away the rings,
For sure. Right. Right.
it won't be as, I mean, SGA is putting up some stupid numbers, but
Well, yeah, because
man,
and that's the thing. So that's the biggest thing for me. Like I said, Kevin Durant was doing this with other buckets around, like other people getting buckets around
yeah,
him. So it was like he had to fight for them buckets, right?
yeah,
And I often question how much I don't I I guess it's come out and not really come out. I don't I don't think he liked playing with Russell Westbrook. Um,
yeah.
I
I think there's a
that's
problem there. The style of play there,
yeah.
he
I
wasn't
just
feeling
yeah,
it.
right. He wasn't feeling it. SGA doesn't have to worry about that. Like
Yeah, they all get
he's the
along.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the guy. Everybody knows that, and he just everybody on the team understands their role and plays their role.
Hmm.
I think with I think when you go back to Kevin Durant, yes, that could have been the dynasty. That could have been something. I think that they would have won a championship either way. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think eventually, if Kevin Durant would have stayed with OKC, I think eventually they would have won one.
Yeah.
I really feel like
I
that.
for
Like
I for
they went
sure.
really early. Yeah, they went really early. They were really young when they went against Miami. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So they were still babies, like literally.
Yeah.
But 2 or 3, 4 to 3 years into his 4 years into his career, something like that. You know, but I think if they continued to keep playing with each other or whatever, and they were to have gotten, I think OKC would have won at least one by now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think they would have won at least one by now.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like they were far off from winning or going back to another one when he left before he departed. They were up 3-1 against Golden State,
State. Yeah.
like against the best team in the league at that time. They were 73 and
Yeah.
73-9 that year, and they almost didn't beat Kevin Durant. So like,
Yeah.
I would really think if they would have ran it back, they might have beat Golden State the next year because they were literally right on the cusp of going to the finals again.
Yeah. They were.
So
They would have. And again, I just totally believe that it was I that was an ego thing. I don't think. I think. I think Russell Westbrook's ego and Kevin Durant's ego forced that to not happen.
yeah,
I think,
this
and
definitely had some clashes there.
yeah, I don't think it was so much James Harden, but
Nah,
maybe
and then the last little roll around before they discarded, James Harden wasn't even on the team.
yeah, yeah,
So he
true,
was gone off the team a long time ago.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, again, if you ask me, the greatest Thunder is still Kevin Durant, in my opinion. Shea is great. I you know,
hmm
yeah, Shea is great. I love watching him play. Um,
yeah.
it's been fun watching him play in the playoffs. Now, with that said, um, they play tonight. And they're up 2-0 in that series.
2-0. Yeah.
Um, what do you think? What do you think the Timberwolves have to do to get a W? Like, what's the issue? Because we've watched them play great up to this point, right? And right now
hmm
it seems like they're overwhelmed with uh I feel like they're overwhelmed with the kind of defense that OKC is throwing at them.
You gotta make shots.
Just drop them. Just drop the buckets. Just making the shots.
You gotta make shots. I mean, that's just you need people like Anthony Edwards. He needs to make they gotta make shots and play better defense.
Yeah.
That's really all you can do in that whole entire that thought process. There, it's just like OKC is you got to figure out their defense. That's one thing they really need to. I mean, like Rudy Gobert is not gonna have the same type of anything like he did against Golden State or the Lakers in one of those games, like where he wasn't really that big of a factor against Golden State, but um, he was still a factor because of his size.
Right.
Um, but Anthony Edwards, you can't be second half man. You
Yeah.
need to be
You got to
playing all 4 quarters. You got to be going
exactly.
hard all 4 quarters. You got to make
Exactly.
shots. Um, Randall, he's been pretty good, you know what I'm saying? But it just comes down to being better offensively and figuring out a way to stop them defensively. Like Shea is hard to stop.
Yeah.
You can't, he's gonna cause y'all to foul. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna get you in foul trouble. He's gonna do a lot of these things that is gonna put pressure on the defense. But I think that for them to be successful, they're going to have to continue to make open shots. That's it. And you got to be aggressive, ultra aggressive. Like I see, like the last game, they we missed the last game,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
last game it looks like Anthony Edwards had a good game.
Yeah, he
He
had a
had
solid
32
game.
points.
Yeah.
You know
He
what
had a
I'm
solid
saying?
game.
32 points. He shot 46% from the field. I mean, so I couldn't really speak on that game, but I know that first game they shut him all the way down.
Yeah.
Like he was not a non-factor. But you got to exert your dominance from the very beginning. Him and Randall need to really exert their dominance from the start to finish, and they need to play good team basketball,
Yeah.
good team defense all the way through.
Right.
You know,
It's
get to
just
those
what it
open
comes down
shooters. You
to.
know what I'm saying? Yeah, play. You gotta play great defense. You gotta be with OKC. You got to be locked in the whole game.
Yes. That's what it comes
The
down to.
whole game. Like it can't be a time where because they will in a blink of an eye go on
Point run.
a 15 point run on you in a blink of an eye, and it's just like where did this come from?
Yeah.
Well,
And so here's when I look at it and when I watch some things, um, here's what I see. Obviously, we know that Shai, like you brought it up, he will get the fouls. He
mm-hmm.
understands body control and how to draw fouls. I think Minnesota has to do a way better job of
Not
of
fouling.
huh
I said not fouling.
not foul him, but if they could keep him on the perimeter, they have to devise a plan to keep him on the perimeter. Like your goal has to be keep him on the perimeter and force somebody else. Like you're gonna have to force
Yeah,
somebody else to be
to
that
beat you.
guy. So
Yeah,
you're living with uh, you know you gotta get him into some double teams. You gotta figure out how to trap him. You have to figure out
mm-hmm.
ways to keep him from driving the lane. Because he's getting a lot of fouls on the shot when he's driving the lane.
Yeah,
Keep him
yeah,
on the outsides. Keep him on the perimeter. You got to figure out a way to scheme to keep him trapped on the perimeter and not let him get inside. I think that's
yeah,
what Minnesota has to focus on. That's your best chance.
yeah. I would agree. That's gonna be your best chance of being able to win that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You gotta contain him.
Yeah.
He's the first on your scouting report. He's the one you need to circle, and we need to figure out a way to keep him from penetrating to the rim
Right.
because that's where he wants to go.
Yeah.
He don't want to take and settle for threes. He can hit a three, but he ain't that in this game.
Yeah.
So, but you gotta really make sure that he's not dominating you, and then you gotta make sure that when he misses, you need to be cleaning up rebounds. You know what I'm saying? Get on the
Absolutely.
glass.
Yeah.
You can't give them second chance points because Harkenstein and Czech Holmgren, they they can cause problems now,
Yeah. Oh
especially
yeah.
Harkenstein.
Yeah. Oh
He
yeah.
can cause some issues
Absolutely.
because he loves getting on that glass.
Yeah, he does.
And and one thing about OKC though is their defense matches the same intensity as their offense.
All the
That's what makes
time.
them also pretty hard.
All the time.
Um, and you got to figure out you need to try to figure out how to get them in foul trouble. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Offensively, try to get yourself to the line. You can't settle for jumpers all day long. You
Well,
can't
that's
do
part
nothing
of it
like
too.
that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've got to put pressure on them. Make the refs, force the refs to call those fouls. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Shay's getting them.
Yeah.
Hey, Anthony Edwards, get to that rack,
Yeah.
bro. It's like you were more than just a 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
Get to the rack, get to the line. That that's gonna be the easiest equalizer out of all of it, is just getting to that line. And that's the one thing, like when we talk about basketball, man, when your shot ain't working, you're supposed to get to the line.
Hmm.
This is things that everybody they used to teach that back in the day. If your
Yeah.
shot ain't on, get to the line.
Get the line.
Try to get to the free throw line. Get points any way you can. That's the easiest way. Get
Yeah.
to the free throw line, man.
Yeah.
And of course, you're gonna need your role players to play big, like Nas Reed. He needs to be on point. DiVincenzo, who's been struggling the whole entire playoffs for the
Playoffs.
most part,
Yeah.
he needs to, wake up. Randall's been pretty good. He has to stay pretty good.
Yeah. He has to be
Um,
consistent and the pretty good. He'll
yeah, he needs to be
disappear on you.
consistent. Yeah, yeah, he needs to be consistent, which he has been for the majority of this playoffs.
Playoffs. Yeah.
Um, but he needs to be consistent. He needs to keep putting pressure on him because he's another one that can actually get to the rim. He
Yeah.
can get inside. He can cause, you know, get the fouls that you need there.
Yeah.
They have to play a full round 48 team game.
Yeah.
Offensively and defensively, you got to be locked in a full 48.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't have the advantages that Denver had. You know what I'm saying? Like with the bigs that Denver had that
Right.
caused problems against OKC. And then, of course, Jokic. Jokic is a problem for everybody.
Everybody.
There's
Yes. Yeah.
nobody that's going to stop him.
Yeah.
And that was why they were, where they were. And, of course, you got that nuclear weapon in Jamal Murray
Murray.
that any
Yeah.
given time
Anytime
this man
press
might
the
just
button, it
blow up
seemed
in
like
30
exactly.
ignite and that's
Yeah.
it. He's going off. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? See, but they don't have One thing that Minnesota don't have is that post presence like a Jokic, because Gobert is not a he's not a post present. He's not really good offensively,
Yeah, he's
you
just
know.
your defensive
So
guy and your rebound
yeah,
guy.
yeah. And so when he gets 20 and some change, it's kind of like, oh wow,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But
yeah,
he's not that type. It's not. Y'all don't have the same advantages of I could dump it down to Jokic and he gonna give me 32. Makes my night a little bit easier because they got to worry about him. Everybody's gonna be zoned up on Anthony Edwards. They're gonna double him, get the ball out of his hands.
right.
Randall, they're gonna try to get the ball out of his hands
Hands.
or
Yep,
force him to shoot a bad shot.
yep.
And then you got to make. But Minnesota needs their role players to step up. All of them need to really step up. Nas Reed, he can stretch the defense. DiVincenzo, he can play both sides of the ball. He needs to get his offensive game going. You know, Mike Conley can get his offensive game going. He's not going to be shooting a whole bunch, but he's a clutch player.
Yeah,
You've seen Mike Conley hit big shots. So they just need a full world round team. Jaden Daniels lock in defensively. You need to hit open shots.
yeah.
They just need to play a full 48 minutes of basketball
Period.
on both sides. That's
Period.
it.
Yeah.
There's not much you really could do scouting wise against OKC. I mean, there's a reason why they were the number one seed and they did what they did in
Did
the
right.
regular season. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's not a fluke.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree with you 100%. Did you happen to first of all, let me start by saying like no, I'm not a hater. I just Indiana just still doesn't I watch obviously because I've watched that series with Indiana and
Mhm.
New York Knicks.
Mhm.
Obviously we know the history with the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers, going back to Reggie Miller and Spike Lee and the whole choke thing and all of that. Whatever,
Right.
whatever, right? Um,
Mhm.
I've been called a Halliburton hater. I guess you could call me that. Just because I don't want to watch Indiana play, you can't call me a Halliburton hater. Whatever, right? Um,
Right.
with that said, like I would love to see the New York Knicks advance. I would love to see them play OKC in the championship, given what's left.
Yeah.
But Indiana overall, these the first two games has just played better team ball.
Well, um,
Aside from
except
game
for
one.
game one.
Aside from okay, fair enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
game
Game
one,
two. Yeah. Game one.
that was just a fluke.
They just got hot.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? They got really hot at the end of the game, and they made big shots. Um, and there was nothing that New York kind of just dropped the ball.
yeah,
But
badly.
they got hot, and that was it. Like one thing I always say, there's when great offense is gonna always beat great defense. That's literally the name of the game. When a person is hot,
Yeah,
like scorching or whatever, there's
he's on
little to
fire.
almost nothing you can actually do.
Yeah,
There's literally nothing you can actually do. They're gonna make the shot because that's when you get to the people making shots and you be like, how the heck did he make? Ain't nothing you could do.
yeah,
The best defense, the best offense can beat the best defense because of the fact that somebody gets super hot, like Steph Curry. You can play great defense on Steph Curry, but after you seen he didn't hit 4 or 5 threes in a row,
yeah,
you know what type of night you about to have. Don't matter what kind of defense you playing, because he's throwing it up from anywhere.
yeah.
I mean, so
Absolutely.
it's just like
You're
you
right.
can't do nothing.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with New York. 2 minutes left, you would think you up by like what 15, 16 points with well something like that with two
Yeah,
minutes and some
game one it
change.
was like 12. They were up
Yeah, it's
by
like
12
12 points
points. Yeah.
in like 12 in 2 minutes. You don't expect that a team is just gonna hit threes and be hot like they were.
Right.
They got hot
They got hot.
at the
Yeah.
right time. They got hot. Um, and then it just carried over into overtime. Um, Yesterday they just got outplayed. Siakam came out aggressive and he was hitting everything under
Yeah,
the
he was
sun.
yeah.
And
He couldn't
so
miss.
another one of those moments where they are hot. But one thing that I do notice is that Indiana plays great defense.
Yeah. Yeah.
They play great defense. Like Naismith on Brunson. He's been playing
He's been doing a solid
really
job.
good defense on him.
Yeah.
Brunson's he's getting 30, but it's a hard 30. There's a difference between an easy 30 and a hard 30.
Yeah. Yeah.
Siakam had an easy 39.
Yeah.
It looked easy for him.
Yeah.
Brunson struggled to get 30 points because he would make some shots, but when you making it to where like watching them, you getting into your sets and then you gotta force up a shot with like 3 seconds left on the clock, or you are forced to give up the ball, or the type of defense Neesmith was be playing on Brunson. I'm seeing Brunson stumble all over the court, trying to get by him,
Yeah.
things like that. Like those things are shades of he's playing excellent defense. He's making it a hard 30 for him.
Right.
New York needs all the others to pick up.
Well, and
Cat,
yeah,
all
Cat
them boys,
and
they
Cat in
need
the
to
first
pick up.
half was there. Like
Yeah.
those first 2 quarters, Cat was there was one run that they went on, and he had 12 of the last 14 points for New York. Cat was there. It's just about finishing strong, though.
He doesn't finish strong. Sometimes he don't. He'll disappear.
Yep.
Cat would disappear.
Last night was one of those nights where what they got out of Cat in the first 2 quarters is what they should have gotten in the last quarter. Like that was when you needed Cat to be that, right?
And see, this has been my thing about even when we said it when we was, the other night when we was at the podcast over there, with shout outs to Bros Talk broadcast. You know what I'm saying? Well, we was over there though, but it was just like that's my biggest thing about New York. Like I actually could see that Indiana will probably advance. My only reason is because New York is inconsistent. They're one of those teams to where it's just like I don't trust your team. You have a top to bottom. I think New York has the better roster.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have the better roster. When we know when you're on playing on fire, you're playing locked in the whole 48, you could beat anybody. We seen you just do it.
Right.
Beat one of the better teams.
Right.
Yeah, Celtics shot themselves in the foot a lot of times, but 20 coming from 20 down at 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
That's almost nobody ever fathomed that. You expect, okay, you down 20, this is a game over, but you came back.
Yeah.
We've been seeing a lot of that, though, because Indiana has been another team that's been able to do that. They did it against Cleveland.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but it's just like, I don't trust the Knicks.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's just something, when I watch them, it's like, I can't trust you to stay consistent with your play throughout the whole entire game.
Yeah. You've mentioned that before. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't trust Cat. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's days where Cat might go off for 50-something points. 50 and 16 or something like that. But you won't get that from him all the time.
Right.
The next game, he might a no-show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bridges, he's been known to be a good two-way player, but he disappears.
Yeah.
Anunoby disappears offensively.
Yeah.
I done seen New York be sloppy defensively. And it's just like, for y'all to be so good, but then look so bad sometimes.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like I just don't trust them. And then the way that Indiana can play and go on streaks and shoot, them boys can shoot the rock.
Yeah.
And they play hard-nosed defense. They play really tight-lipped defense. Bro, I will tell you right now, if it ends up being OKC Indiana in the finals, it's going to probably be a good one, because the way that both teams can play defense and the way that they play offensively,
the efforts that they give, like on both sides of the ball, like
and like no matter who they put into the game, it's like they're constantly pressure. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be exciting to watch it.
Yeah,
regardless, I mean, I want to see New York in the finals. I want to see them.
yeah,
I would like to see it. I would like to see OKC, but I would like to see the Timberwolves because I like Anthony Edwards. I like Julius Randle.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to all of them, I just want to see a good finals. But
Finals, right,
I'm
right.
just not. I don't have the confidence in New York as I do to any other team
Any
that's
of
in there.
the other teams that are in it. Fair enough.
Because I feel like, yeah, because I do. I mean, I feel like New York has probably the outside of maybe OKC, they have the best roster,
Yeah, like
top to
on
bottom.
paper, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they have the best roster, top to bottom. They just don't play like they got the best roster.
yeah.
That's just the
They
problem.
get in their own way.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
Brunson can't do it all.
No, yeah, and
Can't do it all.
I feel like that's kind of what they're expecting right now. It's like the other people are like, it's almost like last night. Cat was like, okay, now Brunson, it's your turn. Like you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to keep going. You got to
Yep.
keep. You got to give them that effort. Um, with that said, last topic. We won't spend too much time on it, but we did see that Cam Ward signed his rookie contract with the
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee Titans. The
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee Titans have Will Levis on their roster. Is there going to be a competition there? Does Cam Ward have to compete against Will Levis for that starting position, or is that Cam Ward's job?
I feel like it's Cam Ward's job. We seen what Will Levis does. To me, you don't pick up, you don't you don't go first round first pick for a guy that you're not going to put in start him instantly.
I agree. Not this day
Mm,
and age. No, for sure
yeah,
not.
nah, not this day and age. Plus, on top of that, when you look at the roster, if you look at the quarterbacks they got, why would he be on the bench?
Yeah,
Like, why?
yeah,
Will Levins is not somebody that I'm gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, I should think he should just go under his tutelage for a whole year. No, that's
yeah.
not. He's not a veteran presence for me like that. He
No.
doesn't do anything. You went number one, first round, first pick with Cam Ward because you was ready to move on from Will Levins.
Yeah,
Will Levins really wasn't supposed to be your main quarterback in the first place. He just happened to work out to be better than who y'all had, the last person y'all
bingo.
had that was actually there. So, yep, it's Cam Ward's to lose. That's how I feel.
Yeah, plain and simple. I agree 1000%. Um, should Tennessee just like try to trade him? Like I don't know. I feel like they need to try to get something out of him.
Who, Will Levins?
Yeah, Will Levis. Yeah,
Yeah, you about to be a backup, bro. It don't matter
the
where you go, you're
career
gonna be a backup,
career
so you might
backup,
as well
huh?
chill. Yeah, you might as well be just that's where you at.
Embrace it.
Yeah, you didn't do enough starting for me to really be like, oh, I gotta get you off my team.
Yeah,
Oh, hey, guess what? You demoted. You back up.
yeah.
If Cam Ward doesn't work out, we'll have to go with you again. So
Fair enough.
yeah,
Fair enough.
that's where they at.
Do you have a y'all must have forgot?
Y'all must have forgot. I was trying to think of something last night.
Let's see. Those.
Uh,
Let me think.
Let me think. I could probably come up with a y'all must have forgot.
Yeah,
Let me
off
see.
off the top. If I had to,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's your segment. This your
Matter of fact,
yeah.
no. If you got one, go ahead, put one
This
out there.
no,
It
this
helps me out.
all
It
right.
helps me out. Go ahead, put one out there.
Okay, so if if I pick one, it's gonna be football, right? And
Okay, that's what I was probably wondering.
and
Yeah.
and and, and me and you had me and you had the conversation about this player. I think we might even talked about him on here. And although although this is a rival player, let me pull up some stats on him. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
let me pull up. This is a rival player, right? But he gave us some fits when he played, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm who I'm going with, uh, Sean Alexander.
I had a feeling you was going with this dude.
Yeah, he gave us some fits. Let me pull up.
Man, nasty.
Yeah.
That's the best word for him. He was a nasty runner, bro.
Hey, so he played 123 games. Uh, he had 2,187 rushes, 9,453 yards, and 100 touchdowns. All right, so came into the league 2000. The 2000 his 2001 year he had 1,300 yards. His 2002 season he had 1,100 yards. 2003 he had 1,400 yards. 2004 he had 1,600 yards. 2005 was crazy.
That was
2005
it. Yeah.
he
I
went
was about to say,
nuts.
did he get close to 2K?
2005 he had 1,800 yards, 1,880. Look at how many touchdowns he had.
27 touchdowns
27
that year.
touchdowns that year. Went crazy.
Man was nuts that
Yeah,
year.
he went crazy that year.
He was nuts that year, bro. Yeah.
Yeah,
He was a fit. He gave problems.
yeah.
Problems.
So, yeah.
I hated him over there with Seattle, boy. He gave so much problems.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the y'all must have forgot. Go look at his highlights. Just a solid running back. He was consistent with the run game. Yeah, man. Shai Alexander. If you don't know, now you do. Go watch some of the highlights. One of the better Seattle Seahawks running backs in their history. While his career wasn't super long, his career was super solid. So
Definitely.
Shai Alexander, that's the y'all must have forgot for this week.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one to end it on.
Yeah, for sure. So as always, we thank y'all for joining us on the pod. Again, like and subscribe. Check out the shorts. You can check us out on Facebook, the Fandamentals Podcast. We also do have a Twitter or an X, the Fandamentals Podcast. And we do have a TikTok as well, the Fandamentals Podcast. So go look for us, check us out, engage. I appreciate the people that leave the comments and stuff. I do respond to all of them if I can. So I'm sure as we grow, that may get a little bit harder, but now we have it set up. Me and Adrian will both be able to respond. So yeah, chop it up with us. Whatever, let us know what you're thinking. We accept all comments, good or bad, constructive criticism. We're here to listen. So, and tell us if you want us to do some other things. And if you got a topic that you want us to discuss, let us know.
That's what I was gonna say right there.
Yeah.
Let us know if y'all got some topics y'all want us to touch on.
Yeah.
And for me, one more thing is shout outs to Bros Talk podcast. Go ahead and check them boys out.
Yes.
Like, subscribe to Bros Talk, and we should be on the next episode there.
Yeah, we should. So we're gonna have them on our show too, real soon. So y'all will go check them out. But we're gonna have them on our show as well, real soon here. So again, thank y'all for joining, and y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's day.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace out.